In the frozen hell of the Ardennes, 12 Allied soldiers were stranded at -35 degrees Celsius, surrounded by enemy patrols, out of food, out of ammo, and out of time. Their only hope was a 40-mile march through a blinding blizzard, a journey no unit had ever survived. Every breath cut their lungs like knives. Every step felt like walking on broken bones, and every hour one more man collapsed into the snow. But what haunted them most wasn't the cold. It was the silence. Because in that silence they could hear German boots circling them, getting closer with every heartbeat. And yet they kept walking, not for glory, not for victory, but for one simple reason. They refused to die in the snow. Operation Frostbite, a World War II survival tale. The storm came without warning. One moment the sky was a pale winter gray. The next, a wall of white swallowed the forest whole. Snow whipped sideways in violent sheets, stinging like shrapnel. The air was so cold it felt alive, crawling across skin, freezing every inch it touched. Inside that storm, 12 Allied soldiers fought to stay upright. Sergeant Michael Reeves wiped the frost from his eyelashes and shouted, "Stay tight! Eyes on the man ahead!" But the wind ripped his voice away instantly, scattering it like dust. These men were part of the 107th Infantry Division, cut off during the chaos of the Battle of the Bulge. A surprise German offensive had crushed the front, and a direct hit on their convoy left them stranded with almost nothing: 3 rifles, 2 grenades, half a box of ammunition, and whatever food their pockets held. Now they were pinned in a frozen forest with enemy troops sweeping the area. And their only chance of survival was a 40-mile march to the nearest Allied line. If the cold didn't kill them, the Germans would. The march begins. Private Carter stumbled forward, boots crunching into the deep snow. The cold had turned his toes into stone. Beside him, Corporal Lorne struggled under the weight of an injured soldier, Daniels, whose leg was shattered from shrapnel. Daniels groaned, his voice faint. Just leave me. You won't make it carrying me." Lorne barked, "Shut up. If I'm freezing to death, you're coming with me." No one laughed. There was nothing to laugh about. Reeves checked the compass. The needle quivered wildly from the storm's magnetic turmoil. "West," he whispered. "Just keep moving west." It was all they could do. The blizzard's hunger. By the 4th hour, snow had buried their footprints behind them. The storm erased every trace of their existence and every hope of rescue. Private Mills collapsed first. Reeves knelt beside him. "Get up, soldier." I can't feel my legs," he whispered, lips blue and trembling. Freezing to death is quiet, soft, almost peaceful. Reeves slapped him hard. "You die here. You die for nothing. Get up." Mills forced himself to his feet, tears freezing on his cheeks. They marched on. Shadows in the snow. As night fell, the storm eased, but only enough for them to see the dark silhouettes moving between the trees. German patrol. Reeves motioned downward. The entire group dropped into the snow, bodies blending with the white landscape. 2 German soldiers passed within 20 feet of them, rifles slung over their shoulders, boots crunching on ice. Carter held his breath. Daniels shook uncontrollably from pain and cold. A single cough would kill them all. But the Germans walked past, unaware of the 12 half-frozen shadows hiding in plain sight. When they were gone, Reeves exhaled. Move, now. The river of ice. At dawn, the group reached the Wolfsbrook River, frozen solid. They needed to cross it, but frozen rivers are unpredictable. One wrong step, and the ice would shatter like glass. Reeves tapped the surface with the butt of a rifle. A deep crack echoed across the river. "Spread out, light steps," he ordered. The men moved slowly, spacing themselves apart. Midway through, the ice moaned, a long, trembling sound. Then, Carter slipped. His boot hit a weak patch, and the river burst open. Carter plunged into the freezing water, screaming as the cold ripped the air out of his lungs. Without hesitation, Reeves lunged, grabbing Carter's arm. The others formed a chain, pulling with every ounce of strength left in their dying bodies. Carter emerged, gasping, skin turning gray. "We're losing him," Lorne shouted. Reeves ripped open his own coat and shoved Carter inside it, sharing body heat. "We're all getting out of this, understand?" Carter nodded weakly. The final night. By the 35th mile, they were barely alive. They found shelter under the wreckage of an old barn, its roof half collapsed. The wind outside roared like a living beast, punching through the broken boards. Reeves lit their last match, warming a canteen cap full of melted snow. One sip for each man. Daniels was fading fast. He whispered, Why are you doing this?" Reeves looked at his men, frostbitten, starving, exhausted beyond belief. "Because nobody dies alone," he said softly. The group slept in shifts, clinging to each other for warmth. Outside, German boots marched past again. But the storm covered their tracks. This time, the blizzard was on their side. The last mile. At sunrise, they stumbled onto a ridgeline overlooking a distant valley. Smoke rose from chimneys, American chimneys. Reeves' voice cracked as he whispered, "We made it." But the last mile was the hardest. Mills collapsed again. This time, he didn't get up. Reeves lifted him over his shoulder. "Just a little more. Stay with me." The group dragged their feet through the snow, every step agony. As they approached the Allied outpost, guards sprang from the trenches, weapons raised. "Identify yourselves," a soldier shouted. Reeves tried to speak, but no sound came. Lorne raised a trembling arm. 12 men, Operation Frostbite, survivors. The guards' faces changed instantly. Medics rushed forward. Blankets, hot drinks, warm hands reached for them. They were safe. Finally safe. The aftermath. Of the 12 soldiers, 9 survived the frostbite, starvation, and the enemy's shadow. Reeves spent weeks in recovery, but when the doctor asked how they made it through a storm that should have killed them all, Reeves just smiled. "We kept walking," he said, "and we kept each other alive." In the frozen nightmare of the Ardennes, 12 ordinary men proved a truth that even war cannot erase. You survive, not because the world is kind, but because you